Someone asked for Iida, so here is an Iida one. P.S. This is a male listener, so I do like to give that as a kind of like, I don't want to say warning, but this is a male listener. But if you guys are female, just put yourself as she. So yeah, but anyways, let's get on. Class 1A. There was a lot of admirable things about the class. There were students also destined to be pros, almost destined to be pros, and all of them were promising. However, your admiration a person that is in the class. Tanya Iida. He was so patriotic, the son of the brother of pro heroes, and, in your opinion, hot. Although you were always apprehensive about confessing your feelings to him, one of the more important reasons was that he was obviously more focused in school than becoming a hero. He definitely wouldn't want to waste time with a romantic relationship. Another reason, which you believed was more of a stupider one, was because you were a guy. You thought he was straight and didn't want to ruin the friendship you had with him, but by confessing you weren't in the hero course, so the only times you saw him were outside of class, when, with your fairly useless quirk, combat-wise, you knew you'd never get into the hero course, so you just went for general education classes. Anyways, your friend, Finn, we're going to say the Finn because it's your friend's name, was friends with Midoriya. Then one day, when Finn was sick, you asked to sit with Midoriya for lunch. Since then, you grew closer to Iida, Uraka, and Midoriya. Oftentimes, you'd eat lunch with them, and Finn walk home or hang out with them after school. Come on, Yin. You're hopelessly in love with the guy. Just confess to him already, Finn sighed after you mentioned something about Iida again. No, I'll just get my heart broken, you replied. You'll never know if you don't try, they said, sliding a pen and notepad your way. Why did I let them talk me into this? You thought. You were awkwardly standing behind the school. If this was a dating sim, you'd be standing at a cherry blossom tree on a Friday after school. None of that was true in your current situation. It was a Thursday after school. Even though your note, the letter on Tuesday. Oh, you wrote the letter on Tuesday. Anxiety got the best of you, and you didn't put it in his locker until this morning. Also, there was no cherry blossom tree on UA grounds, so you opted for the back of school. Lin-kun, Iida asked, a bit surprised by it in his voice. Hi, Iida-kun, you're here, you exclaimed. Were you the one who wrote this? Iida asked, holding out the note you had written. Yes, I did. You said. His eyes seemed to be burning holes into your body. Well, I've always really admired you, and please, will you go out with me? You managed to say, blushing more and more. Iida didn't say anything. The note along had expressed all your feelings, and he had come out here ready to politely reject whatever girl he was asking him out. He even created a whole speech in his head for what he would say. This, though, was what he didn't expect to see. Several times he realized that he had feelings towards you, but he always pushed them away, thinking that it was wrong to love another man. He never would think his parents or brother would approve of a same-sex relationship either. He felt terrible having to say this to you, especially now that he knew you were the one that basically poured your heart out into the note he was holding. I don't hold the same feelings towards you, Yin, he said, regretting the fact that he had admitted it. Your eyes began to lighten up, making this rejection feel even worse. But I'm sorry. I cannot be in a committed relationship with another male student. My family would not allow it. He finished. Your expression quickly dropped, and it was clear. You were trying hard to keep yourself together to finish what you had to say. Okay, I understand. Thank you for your time, he said, not knowing what else to respond. You knew this would happen, Yin. Why are you crying? You knew he rejected you. You thought, trying to stop your voice from shaking and tears falling down. Iida felt terrible for what he said, and not wanting to stay around any longer, he used his quirk to leave, knowing Finn was waiting at the school entrance. He sped past them too. After Iida was gone, he broke down. Rejection hurt. It hurt a lot. Yin wasn't at school the next, and Finn had ignored Iida and his group of friends at lunch. They sat with another classmate, so Iida approached them himself to ask where he was. Finn-san, do you know where Lin-kun is? Iida asked. Most of the table they sat went quiet at the question. A majority of the other people there were from your class, or people he'd seen you talk with before. I don't know. Whatever you told him yesterday really did something. I haven't heard from him at all, and he didn't show up today, Finn replied. Iida felt guilty from yesterday. Returning, he knew you were hurt from what he said, but he didn't think it was that bad. He'd been thinking about reconsidering what he said, instead telling you that he shared the same feelings and how much he just wanted to hold you in his arms, but he couldn't. What would his family think? He was a part of the Iida family. He had to pass the legacy down to his future offspring. His family would never approve of a same-sex relationship. These thoughts ran through his head all day, and now they did as he walked home. The only person that he would be home was Tensi. As a hero, he would use his free time to be with family or friends. But since his friends were mostly pro heroes, they were all currently busy, and since he had no longer able to do hero work, he was stuck at home. Nissan, I'm home, Tenya called as he opened the door, closing and locking it behind him when he stepped inside. Welcome home. How was school today? Tensi replied, moving himself so that he could greet Tenya. It was good. I'll be in my room doing my homework, he said, going to walk off. Wait, you dropped this yesterday. You left this morning before I could ask about it. But I wanted to ask what you told them. Tensi asked, handing Iida the note. The one you've given him yesterday. He must have dropped it by accident. Tenya stared at the note for a second, clenching the paper tightly. I rejected them. May I ask why? Tensi replied. Tenya knew his brother just wanted the best of him, and he didn't want his younger brother going around breaking hearts. It was another male student. I rejected them because I didn't believe you, mother or father, would approve of the relationship like that, Tenya admitted. Tensi seemed slightly shocked when his brother said that. He felt disappointed in himself at the same time, thinking that he really made it so his brother felt this way. Did you share the same feelings with this boy? Tensi asked, not knowing what else to say. Tenya looked away for a second and then nodded. Tenya, we'll support you no matter what. It doesn't matter who you love or who you're with. You know that, right? Tensi said. Iida hung his head, the guilt getting to him as tears ran down his face. I'm sorry, Tenya said, bending down to hug his brother. You didn't do anything, but I'm not the one you should be apologizing to, he said. Right, thank you, Nissan, Tenya bowed. Iida was happy to see you there at school the next day. He wanted to formally apologize to you, and maybe accept your confession, if you even still loved him. At lunch, he approached you, since Finn and you were sitting at a different lunch table once again. Len, I'd like to speak to you after school. Could you please meet me behind the school then? He bowed. All right. You shuddered, not looking him in the eyes. He frowned at that slightly. Thank you very much, he said, and walked back to his table. What was that about, Iida-kun? Uraraka asked as Iida sat back down at the table. Nothing, he replied, sitting back down at the table. All right, if you say so, Izuku said, going back to eating his lunch. The day went quick, and all Iida thought was about you. He was trying to figure out, especially what he would say to you, even if it did mean not paying attention to some of the lessons the teachers were giving. Iida-kun, are you walking with us today? Izuku asked. I apologize, but I cannot do that today. Feel free to go ahead without me. I wouldn't want to leave you waiting for so long, he replied, and immediately used his leg engines to go to the back of the school. Before leaving, he heard Izuku nervously saying to Uraraka, Well, I guess it's just, me and you again. You had been waiting at the back of the school since the bell had rang. From how fast he ran out here, he changed his shoes. You could have suspected he used his quirk. Iida-kun, what did you want to talk to me about? You said, approaching, not so long after the bell. Iida was happy. He admired that you were such a kind person. You didn't you didn't deny his request, and you still treated him like you always had been. Lin-kun, I want to start by apologizing. The other day, when you were talking to me, I let something rather stupid get in the way of my feelings. I shouldn't have let that hurt you or me. I do accept your feelings, Lin-kun. I'd appreciate if you would be my significant other, but I'd understand if you don't accept my proposal, he said, very formal with every word he said. He stood there for a moment in silence. He was looking down at both of his feet, just like Midoriya. You wore shoes that stood out from your outfit. They were your favorite color. He thought it was cute how obvious was you loved those shoes. Iida-kun, you said, causing him to look up. Yes, Lin, he started, quickly getting off guard, and off by your lips pressing against his. His eyes widened as a class rep. This went against everything he was supposed to represent. He was meant to be a model student, not sneaking around the back of the school after hours, kissing another student. Iida slowly closed his eyes, kissing back. He gently wrapped his arms around your body, placing them on your lower back. Your arms went around, resting on his shoulders. Oh! Iida Tenya, Lin Yin, you two know better than to be out here after school hours. Go home, go, so us teachers can go too. Aizawa yelled, seeing the two. Sorry, Sensei, Iida yelled, pulling away from you and quickly bowing. You both left in a rush afterwards, both of you blushing in embarrassment. I'll walk you home, Lin-kun. It would be responsible of me to make sure you get home safe, Iida said. Thank you, Iida-kun. We're in a relationship now, so you can call me Yin. You smiled at him. He blushed at your previous smile. Then it's only fair if you call me Tenya, Yin-kun. All right, Tenya-kun, he said, practically glowing with happiness. Bonus. Aizawa glared at the two teens as they both walked off to the entrance. Wasn't that a bit harsh, Aizawa? Torsunori asked, placing his hand on the pro hero's shoulder. Come on, those were the only two left that I could see from out here, Aizawa said, turning back to go to the teacher's lounge. Don't just ignore me like that, Toshi shook his head. They're breaking school rules. I can't allow behavior like that to occur, especially not from our class, my own class representative, Aizawa said, easily pushing past the currently smaller man. You and Mike do the same back when you two were in high school, Toshinori stated as Aizawa was walking off. Aizawa glared back at this symbol of peace, his stare mostly deadly. "I'll consider it next time," Aizawa said, continuing to head back. "I knew I'd get him with that. Namiri better get me that 1,000 yen," he said to himself. "Stop being so proud of yourself. You're not in the right here either. Making bets on students' relationships." Aizawa shook his head.